This is the quick start guide for the Excel Skills job costing template. This template enables users to compile job costings for all manufactured products by comparing actual cost to standard cost and measuring the total production variance as well as the usage and price variances on an individual job and overall inventory basis. Let's start with the Stockout Sheet. So the Stockout Sheet, you need to create stock codes for each manufactured and raw material component. Unique stock codes need to be created in column A. We recommend alphanumeric stock codes. Description entered in column B. Unit of measure in column C. Your standard unit price in column D, and that's for all bought-in products or components. The manufactured product costings are calculated, and then column E, you need to determine whether or select whether stock issues need to be done on an all level or first level. That's if you have intermediate products in your bill of material, and if you select the first level, then it issues the intermediate product. If you select all level, it will issue the components of the intermediate product. So all these yellow columns are user input columns, and the light blue columns are calculated. So that's the same throughout the template. So on this Stockout Sheet, this is where you create your stock codes. When you initially create your manufactured products, they will show in the product type column as bought in until you've added a bill of material to your BOM sheet. And it's when you do that, then it shows that it's a manufactured product and the product type will automatically change. So this is a relatively complex template. So in this quick start guide, we cannot cover every single column. I'm just gonna cover the main important calculations. So as I say, all the columns with light blue column headings contain formulas and are automatically calculated. So on this stock sheet, it doubles as a creating stock codes and also for analyzing individual stock codes. So you'll see column I has the product cost, which is calculated based on your bills of material. Then column J to N or to O is basically used just to compile some of the other reports in the template. And then you'll see from column P, there's a quantity analysis, which effectively is by stock code. So you can enter a from and a to date at the top of the sheet, and then all these calculations will be updated based on that date range. So you'll have your received quantity for manufactured products. This is based on the quantities that are captured on the J details sheet. You'll have your issued quantities for components. This is based on the standard, which means the input quantities in the bill of material. And then you have your actual issues, which are recorded on the J details sheet. This is the actual stock used for that job run. So there is a usage variance in terms of quantity. Then we have values for receipts for issues at standard and actual, and then you have your total variances, you have your usage and your price variances. And that's basically all the important ones. You've got a unit cost variance there at the end as well. So the Stockout Sheet, just to summarize, creating new stock codes on this sheet for all products, manufactured and components, and it also provides a analysis by individual stock code. Let's look at the BOM sheet. So the BOM sheet is used to assign your bill of materials which is like your recipe for manufacturing, to your manufactured products. So column A has the manufactured code, column B would have the component stock codes. You have your input quantity in column C and your yield in column D. The input quantity is divided by the yield to get to the quantity that's included in the costing. And then the pricing is as per your component pricing, the unit price here on the stock code sheet. So your BOMs are created here, and I'm not going to cover all of these columns, but the light blue columns are automatically calculated, and this is just to calculate your product costs, so your finished product cost. Let's go to the J setup sheet. So again, your user input columns are the yellow ones. On this J setup sheet, you basically just create your jobs. So you have a job number in column A, you have a date which will be according to your original date settings. In column B, you create your manufactured stock code that you're going to produce and the number of units that are required. Then this J setup sheet also provides an analysis of variances per job. So you'll see that there are unit cost differences. You basically have your standard job cost compared against your actual job cost, and then creating a job variance which is split by usage and price. So what that means is, or how it's calculated is your job standard is calculated based on the number of units that you acquire of this manufactured product, and the cost of that manufactured product based on your bills of material. Your actuals are then calculated based on what has been issued on the J detail sheet to manufacture the required quantity of that product. So let's go to the J details sheet and we'll have a look at the transactions that you can enter. So on the J details sheet, the user input columns in yellow. So for every job, you enter the job number in column A, you enter the quantity that you receive of your manufactured product, and then you enter issue transactions for all the components that are issued to that job. So these are all the stock codes, the component codes that have been created on the stock code sheet will be available for selection. This is the quantity that you're going to issue. In terms of cost, you can use, the default is to use the standard cost that's assigned on the stock code sheet. So this standard unit price, that's used by default, but you can override it by entering cost per unit here and then assigning a yes to the override column. So what that will do is then override that standard cost with a different cost. So your receipts, basically your receipts against standard are compared to actual, and then the actual cost of all your issues at the actual quantity, and then prices were overridden or not, if not standard. That's what's used to determine the transaction values. So that's the gist of it. To compare pricing, we've got a price variance here. So wherever you've overridden, that based on the number, the quantity that has been issued, a price variance will be displayed here. But all your issues here, that is the premise of your actual cost calculations, to see what you've actually issued to a job to produce the required number of units. So let's go to the J review sheet. So the J review sheet, where the J setup sheet can be used to calculate your overall variance for a job. This doesn't give you much detail. You just know that there's a variance on that particular job. But now when you enter the job number here, that's the only user input on the sheet, is just to specify the job number at the top of the sheet. Everything else updates automatically, and now you will be able to analyze that variance. So where your job variance is in this case this amount, and split between usage and price, you can now see all the components that were used in this job, what their standard quantity and actual quantities were, what the difference is, what the value difference of each of these are, and then in terms of pricing as well. So standard against actual, and then it gives you a total. So this makes it easy to identify the components that are responsible for the majority of the variance, and to analyze why the manufacturing of that particular product was adversely or positively affected by certain raw material components. So your last sheet is a requirements planning sheet, where you basically just enter manufactured product quantities, and it gives you the raw material component quantities that are required in order to produce the specified finished product quantities. So only the columns with yellow column headings require user input, so it's just the stock code and the quantity of that manufactured product that you need to specify. So for more information on the template, it's a relatively complex one, so we suggest that you read through all the detailed instructions on the instruction sheet to know exactly how the template should be used, and how everything's calculated. You can also view the support section of our YouTube channel, where we post videos based on user feedback.